Why am I broken? What is wrong with me? Why am I damaged? Welcome back to Message to Our Kids, the podcast. Today, I'm going to be talking about breaking free from negativity and letting go for a happier life. That's the topic today. All right, so my name is Benjamin Norman. Welcome back. And we just came back from an unbelievable seminar this weekend in New York. It was the first time that we have run a seminar. We've done retreats now for the last 12 months. Actually, it's been longer. I think it was September, October last year. We ran our first men's retreat with 4 men up in Pittsfield, Vermont, which is a mile up the road from Joe DeSena's property, where he's got a wedding venue, and then behind that is a Spartan Mountain, basically. And you can check this place out. It's where I believe it's where the original Death Racers built the stairs going up to the top. It's about a mile up. It's a solid climb up and down. There's a cabin on top. And what he did is he had people come in and they moved and assembled these stairs using no machinery. So that means that the moving of these rocks depended on human beings. I believe they had some kind of pipe system where they could slide the rocks, and you can still see evidence of that when you go there up in Pittsfield. But our retreat center is literally like a mile up the road in Pittsfield, Vermont, at a place called Escapo, and it is my best friend and my third mom's family house. Both of them are my partners inside of Forgive to Live, and so anyways, we've been running retreats now for a while. And we've done a lot of work working with people who are stuck and trapped inside of their life, really looking for a way out. Most people today are living in some kind of quiet desperation. And so today I want to talk about one of the concepts we talked about during the seminar. This is something that was given to me actually inside of a meditation. It was revealed to me, if you would, in my journey inside of spirituality and faith. And it was really an answer to a question, like, why has it taken me 10, 11, 12 years to find an answer to the question, why am I broken? What is wrong with me? Why am I damaged? This was something that plagued me to no end, all through my 20s, all through my 30s, in my first marriage, in my early days of fatherhood. I was stuck with this question, like, nothing I ever do is good enough. It doesn't matter how hard I work. It does not matter all the things that I'm doing, whether I'm reading books, listening to audiobooks, going to seminars, going to therapy, trying and testing all different ways to learn how to communicate. Nothing I was doing was good enough. And when I got to the shocking truth of all of this, it was kind of like, oh, come on. You can't be serious. It's that simple. Like, I wish somebody would have just told me this, 10 years ago, and maybe, just maybe, I would have figured some things out sooner. And I say that in a joking way. I have no desire to go back into my past and change anything. And I talk about this a lot. The reason why I have no desire to go back into the past, because if I change a single thing inside of the past, that means I lose everything. I lose my wife, I lose my 5 amazing children, I lose, the fact that I'm sitting here in front of this camera even doing this, because 12 years ago, this never would have happened. If you could see a picture of me back then, I was not a guy who would ever think, oh yeah, put me in front of a camera and let me talk about my life. Like, that was so far from the truth. It's just, it's not something that I would say, yeah, sign me up for that one. Put me in front of a bunch of people talking about really heavy, dark things, and I'll be the first one in line. Like, hell no. Like, get me out of here. I'd rather be playing video games and drinking beer, and just, wishing my life away, literally. And so, what I want to do today is I want to talk to you about a key concept that we discussed inside the seminar. And I think that this is going to make a difference for you, but you're going to have to tune in and listen to the episode all the way in to the end. Don't try to skip ahead and see if you can get it, because just looking at it, you may not understand it. I need to fill in a little bit more color. And I'll be doing a lot of episodes like this where we're talking about, how do I take all of these, esoteric concepts and, erudite ideas that are out there in the marketplace and actually practically apply them to my life. And the reason for that is because your life is on the line. The fact that you're spending a precious, even single minute with me right now, I carry that with great honor because you're trading your life right now to listen to me. So I better be sure that the things that I'm saying are going to make a difference for you. And if they're not, that's fine. Just click off the video, and go about your business. I never want to be somebody who is speaking and consuming another person's time and them not getting value out of it. Why? Because I wasted 12 years of my life doing this. Okay, now I went a little dark there. Okay, like the view of it is I wasted 12 years of my life, but truly I didn't, because in order for me to go and get to this place, I had to go into that darkness to find the light. So I still wouldn't change anything, but there's always this piece of me inside that's like, man, I wish somebody would have just told me this sooner. It would have saved me a lot of pain, a lot of heartache, a lot of heartbreak, a lot of just, things not going right inside of my life. But here we are. So now my job is to take what I've learned and pass it forward, and that's what we're doing. Which brings me to another point. My mom always tells me that things that are of the spirit should be freely available. I work and run a for-profit business called Forgive to Live alongside my partners. And yeah, we charge for what we're doing. But I want to make a very clear distinction. What we're teaching inside of Forgive to Live, inside of our retreats and our seminars that we charge for, has a lot to do with spiritual truth, but this is my way of passing that spiritual truth forward and offering it freely, doing things on social media. Again, you can ask my partners, this is not something I was interested in doing. No, let me hide behind my keyboard and type a bunch of emails. I'm a fantastic writer. I'm going to do some email marketing with some SEO, and maybe that'll carry the day. So I'm outside my comfort zone right now, and it's not fun. And so here we go. All right. So let's get back to the topic. Okay, breaking free from negativity. Now, here's the thing that I want to tell you. I'm going to draw something up right now. And if you're tuning into the audio version of the podcast, I'm going to encourage you to come over to our YouTube channel. You can actually watch us draw this stuff out. You search us up on YouTube, Forgive to Live. Right now, it's a lot of content with me, getting my partners online with all this. You'll see more from Franco and Maria as we get going. So I'm going to draw this out, and I'm going to explain to you one of these concepts. Now, over the weekend, it kind of hit me. It was like, man, we have a $50 billion self-help industry right now. Like, the human help industry is a $50 billion industry. Why do we have a $50 billion industry, called human help? I'm talking books, audiobooks, seminars, all the things that we're doing inside of Forgive to Live. Why is there a massive amount of energy being directed, in this one direction? And it sort of came together because we started to have people sitting around inside of our circls up in Vermont who have done a lot of things. They've done Deepak Chopra. They've gone to Tony Robbins. They've been to Wake Up Warrior, Brendan Burchard. There's many more names that I can't rattle off the top of my head, and they're all seeking an answer to a question that they themselves could not find inside of any of these places. And that was the key for me. The answer that I was looking for was actually not found out there. It wasn't found outside of me. I've had the answers all along, going all the way back to childhood. But some things got in the way. And so I'm going to talk about negativity, but negativity is really like darkness, and if you're listening to my podcast, I talk about darkness. And the thing about darkness is it's a catch-all phrase for past pain, past trauma, childhood trauma, negative experiences that have happened in your life that are actively and actually shaping your perception of reality right now in this very moment. Okay, this is the thing. So we have a $50 billion human help industry. And then, just out of curiosity in the middle of the seminar, I said, I wonder how much the industry is, like what's the market cap of the industry for therapy and counseling? And my partner Franco, my battle brother, best friend, he like throws it into ChatGPT, and the number thrown back was $416 billion right now in therapy and counseling. I don't know about you, but like during COVID, we were trying to find therapists for our children and we couldn't even get on a list. Like we couldn't even get on a list. Like we were on a wait list freaking everywhere we looked. And I'm scratching my head. I'm like, why is this? What is going on right now in the world where like people are not taking responsibility for raising their children and being a beacon of light and guiding them? And it's like, well, hello, they don't know what they don't know. You know, just like Jesus said when he was on the cross, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. And so all these things started unfolding, but the question started with, why do we have almost a $500 billion industry in people just seeking help? Now, you may think, oh, well, that's really cool. You know, that's a lot of money and all of that. But I'm going to give you something else. Money is energy. That's how I see it. So we have a $500 billion units of energy going directly into self-help, therapy, and counseling. That's a problem. Let me ask you this, and I asked the same question during the seminar. How much money do we have right now going towards changing the sky from being blue? Okay, maybe there's some people out there that are like actively doing that, and I had somebody who's really smart in the audience, of course I know this, say, well, actually the sky is not really blue. Yes, I know it's not that. I know, but the point of the story is we have like no money, certainly not $1 billion being directed into changing the sky from blue to some other color. Why do we have $500 billion going in this direction? Money is energy. Somebody somewhere had to trade literally their life to get a dollar, to take that dollar, turn around and hand it to somebody else to solve a problem. So when I see $500 billion market, what I actually see is the problem's not solved yet. And so my quest now as a spiritual guide, relationship guide, somebody who just wants people to have the very best life possible for themselves, is to go out and try to develop tools and technology to help somebody have a more accurate view of what is actually occurring in reality so that they can live more connected to their heart here, because this is where all the answers lie. So I'm going to draw this out. Here's what the rest of the industry is saying. And I know you've probably heard this somewhere. And listen, my job here is not to crap all over all the people out there who are already doing this and have been doing it for years. You know, I'm not saying there's something wrong with these people. It's just, you know, they're trying their very best. They're doing the best they can with what they have to make a difference and to have impact. I just saw something different inside of a meditation. I'm about to share that with you. So I'm going to draw this up. So most of the time, what you hear inside of the market is if you change your beliefs. Change your beliefs. If you change your beliefs, then you can start to change your thoughts. You'll start to change. You change your beliefs, then your beliefs will change your thoughts. Okay, so what do I mean by that? All right, so I'm going to draw this out next. Here we go. I'm spelling out the word thoughts. Hopefully my spelling is correct. So if I have a belief, that belief is going to lead to a thought. Now the next thing that's going to happen, and I'm already out of space, so this is going to look completely wonky, but we're just going to roll with it. Now the next thing that's going to happen as a result of those thoughts is I'm going to take actions. So my beliefs are leading to thoughts, my thoughts are creating actions, and my actions are producing results in my life. Okay, so these actions are producing results in my life. Now, what's the problem with this? Okay, people say, well, if you want different results, then just, go change your beliefs. Go change your beliefs. You want different results? Change your beliefs. No problem, right? But, okay, let me ask you, if you believe I'm not good enough, if you believe I'm not loved, I'm not seen, I'm not heard, I'm going to invite you right now in this moment to change that belief. Go ahead. Try on for a second. I am lovable. I am seen. I am heard. Try that on for a second. And this is what happens. A lot of people go through this experience. They have a deep-seated belief. And the thing about this belief is that you're actually blind to it. You can't see it. It's outside of your view. So it's like you have this blindness. So when they said in the Bible, Jesus was healing the blind, they did not mean he was healing the mechanically broken eyes. I believe he was talking about that he was healing people's perception of reality, because the way that they were seeing life and how they were living it was actually incorrect. And so the healing of the blindness that he was doing was not because their eyes were mechanically broken, but he was getting them to literally see the world and reality from a completely different lens. And I've witnessed this over and over and over again inside our retreats. We bring somebody in, we dive deep into the dark, and when they come out of that, I watch literally, like I was saying last week on the podcast, their face just changes. Like the wrinkles just drop off, and it's just this dullness that's in their eyes just is replaced with this unbelievable glowingness. They say eyes are windows to the soul. Like, this is an example of that. How many people do you look around inside your life and you're looking at them and they just have this dead, empty look here? Okay? That's not living. When I see that, I know that person is dealing with something. They're carrying something that's heavy. And I feel that I'm spiritually obligated to do something about it. And it's especially hard inside my own family and my immediate family and my extended family to look around and see my family members suffering from this. And family is the hardest, they're the hardest people for me to work with, because they're so close. They've known me all along. They've seen me through all the seasons of life, right? There's a perception of me that's there. Whereas if I talk to somebody new, they only know me as they see me for the first time. So people from 10 years ago, they look at me and they're like, whoa, you're a whole different guy. You're not even the same guy back then. I know, but what I want to say to them is I'm not changed. I didn't change. I didn't go through some process and change some things about me. What has been happening to me has been an uncovering and an unfolding and a removing of layers and layers of darkness to get back to a place where I'm connected every single day to my heart. I am listening to my own voice and I am following it, sometimes with reckless abandon. And people sit around and they're like, I can't believe he's doing this. What the hell's gotten into him? He's crazy. You're married, you have kids, you're all this stuff. I know. The same reason why you're saying I'm crazy for doing this is the reason why I'm doing it. Because I'm married, because I have a family. That's the thing that's driving me. I want the absolute best for my wife and my children. And I believe that everybody wants that. So the thing is, you have a belief of I'm not seen, I'm not loved, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy. And then your thoughts are he doesn't love me. He's not paying attention to me. I just walked in the house. He didn't even notice me, didn't give me a kiss. I walked right by him. He didn't even say anything to me. I speak and I'm not heard. These are all thoughts. And then they're leading to actions. And the actions are definitely not serving you. If it's I'm not loved and the thoughts are creating actions where you start to go on the attack with your wife, or your husband, or your children, or whoever it is in your life, you start taking the action of assaulting them for it, and just getting on their case about whatever it is just so you can get some kind of attention back, that's producing more results. And the result is probably producing is more disconnection. But go ahead and change your belief for a second. Now, this thing bothered me. Okay, because I was using tools along the way that had me process this every single day of my life, sometimes 3 and 4 times. And I'm eternally thankful for these tools. These tools did make a difference, but I kept asking my question man, there's got to be a quicker way to this. Because I'm still processing the same stuff on repeat. When am I going to get to the bottom of this? When am I going to see the answer? And then, of course, I read this quote from Albert Einstein. The brain that invented the problem is incapable of solving it. And it's like, shoot. Well, I'm going to have to surround myself with smarter people or go find somebody who's going to open up my perspective and have me see things differently. Because right now, I'm not able to solve this problem. I can't do it by myself. And then this is really where I start to lose my mind with the self-help industry, because we got things out there saying you're 100% responsible for your life. You're 100% responsible for every action that you take. It's your fault that you're there. It's yours. It's your fault. And now I just feel guilt and shame, like I'm a freaking piece of shit because I'm not doing something that somehow I'm supposed to know to do, and I just can't see it because I'm blind. And that's what this whole thing boils down to. So I started looking at this and I'm like, okay, this is not working for me. Go ahead, change your beliefs. I'm going to ask you to do this right now. And we do this inside a retreat. Like stand up, bend over, grab your shoelaces. Okay, this is straight from Alan Watts, a guru and a mentor I listened to hundreds of hours of, who was around in the 70s. And he's like, leading yourself to enlightenment is like lifting yourself up by your own bootstraps. So I have people bend over and grab their shoelaces. Go ahead, pick yourself up off the floor. Like lift yourself up off the floor. And don't get cute with me. Don't jump and call that lifting. I literally mean use your arms and pick yourself up off the floor. I've had people in full-blown tears during a retreat when this washes over them because they realize this is how you're treating your husband. Like this is how you're treating your husband. You're expecting him to lift himself up off the ground, and the one thing that you're doing is you're speaking darkness and death over him. And that's not what that man needs right now. What he needs more than anything is for you to lift him up and to speak light into him. And to say, honey, I love you. I believe in you. You are my king. I know that we are only going to rise to greatness if you do. And I want to let you know that I'm the greatest cheerleader that you have. What can I do to help you? How can I get you out of the way of your own self? You know, and my wife started doing this with me. She saw this herself. And there were times where I'm lost in the dark. I'm lost in the dark all the time. So nothing I'm saying to you is something that I'm above. I battle this on a daily basis, you know? And so she would sit me down. She would say, sit the down right now. I would fight her. I'm not sitting down. I'm not doing. She would say, sit the. I'm like, okay. All right. I will sit down. And she'll say to me, I want you to share. Tell me everything that's going on right now. And I would just have this massive emotional release, like 45 minutes later, nonstop talking. And I'm like, oh God, I feel so much better. Thank you. I love you so much. Thank you. That's what I needed. And I felt more free. She sat there and she just gave me her attention. You know, she's not on her phone scrolling Facebook or Instagram. She's not doing that. She's sitting there and she's listening to me with her heart. And she's hearing me. She's not criticizing me. She's not judging me. She's not correcting me. She's just receiving everything that I have. And I have never felt more in love with my wife than those moments. Because it's like, this is what we need. We need people who can just listen and receive and hear us and speak a little light into us. So you bend over and you grab your shoelaces and try to pick yourself up. That's like changing your beliefs. Go ahead. You're not loved? Go ahead. Bend over, lift your shoelaces up, and now I want you to believe that you're loved. It's not going to work. You can try it on. It'll get you so far. And that leads me to the next model. Now, right here, this model, this is the $50 billion self-help industry. Okay? Now, I don't know if everybody's talking about this, but around a lot of the research that I've done, a lot of people talk about this. And that's a good start, but there's something missing from the picture. I'm going to draw that right now, okay? So I have a coach who taught this in a very different way, and it made a huge difference for me, but it still didn't get to the answer I was looking for. So in a lot of ways, I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. So I'm taking ideas and concepts, I'm bringing them back in front of God inside of meditation. I'm asking, how can we improve this? How can we make it better? I mean, this is evolution really at work. So you decide that you're going to suddenly believe something different about yourself. You're just going to try it on. And what we call that is a negative, I'm going to write this out, negative belief override. Okay, negative belief override. Right? So here it is. Negative belief override. So here we go. This is what we got. We're down here. Beliefs, thoughts, actions, results. Negative belief override. And if you're on my live stream right now on Facebook, I don't know if this is displaying forwards or backwards. So if it's backwards, my apologies. So continuing on, negative belief override. And what happens with a negative belief override is now all of a sudden you're going to plug back in to your beliefs. So you're going to say, nope, it's not true. I am loved. I'm going to override that internal feeling that I have, that the internal belief that I'm not loved. I'm going to override it up here with my mind. And now I'm going to start telling myself that I am loved. And I'm going to go into the world. And now this belief leads to new thoughts, but what ends up happening is this distortion occurs, okay? What happens is a reality really where like something over here is going to occur and you're going to be triggered, and guess what? You're not going to default back to your negative belief override. You're not going to default back to I am loved. You're going to default back to I am not loved. And this is where the healing comes into place. Because in order for you to really have different results inside your life, you really do have to change your beliefs. But this cycle does not end. People live inside this cycle for decades. I know I did. Maybe you did too. So there's something missing from the picture, okay? So now we're going to add something, all right? And I'm going to end it here. There's actually a couple more circles after this, which I will continue in the next episode of the podcast, which will be next week. But there's something missing. I'm going to draw a line here. All right, and next week I'll draw this a little bit better. So here we go. Here's what's missing. Being. You are a human being. Not a human doing, trying to produce results. You are a human being. So the beingness is missing, okay? Now, this is the left side. Now we go off the deep end over here into the realm of spirituality and connection and faith and connecting deeply to your heart and asking your own self your own answers so that you can see through the darkness that has you blinded right now, all right? So here's an example. Every single day I wake up, my day starts with I am. Who am I today? Who do I need to be today? Who do I want to be today? Anything in that realm is going to now shape and color my entire reality for the rest of my day. But I can't just get here, because the healing part that's required is why you would come to a seminar or retreat. You would go to anybody's seminar, anybody's retreat. In fact, what I've been hearing a lot lately is people go on these ayahuasca journeys, and I can't help but laugh because we do all those same things during our experiences, but there's no psychedelics involved. Like none whatsoever. You don't have to take something and be brought on this journey in order to arrive there. We can actually do this in the course of 3 days on the side of a mountain, with no hallucinogenics. And again, I'm not shitting all over ayahuasca journeys because they've made incredible results inside of people. I'm just saying our path is one path of many paths. This belief has to get removed because it's not true. When you say I am not loved, I'm sorry. That's a lie. It's simply not true. There's something that happened in your past and a series of events that shaped your entire reality. So now that I'm adding this to the equation, who you are being is I am not loved. That's who you're being. You show up being I'm not loved. You go into your life, I'm not loved. Guess what you believe now? I'm not loved. I believe my husband doesn't love me. My wife doesn't love me. My kids don't love me. My friends don't love me. My boss doesn't love me. My clients don't love me. My parents don't love me. My mom doesn't love me. Dad doesn't love me. Grandparents doesn't love me. Like nobody loves me because the fundamental beingness that I'm operating my life from, being a human being, I am being not loved. And that leads to a belief. My husband doesn't love me. I'm not good enough for him. I mean, it just goes. Then this leads to new thoughts. Maybe I need to find somebody out there who does love me, who will pay attention to me. This leads to new actions, you know. They start to open themselves up to be available to somebody, anybody out there who's going to say the magic right words to have them build a connection with them. And then before long, this is where we're dealing with affair territory. Men go out and cheat on their wives, women go out and cheat on their husbands. It produces a whole new result. And the whole new result is a dead marriage. It's dead, Jim. It's dead. You killed it. You killed it, and there's no going back. There is no going back. That marriage that you were just in is dead. It's done. You know, there's no rebuilding it, no going back, no restoring it, because you just annihilated the shit out of that. Off of this, and that result is, well, guess what? You know, for most women, they're sitting inside of a marriage for up to 2 years before they have a courage to ask for a divorce and leave. You know, and for the men, they just take off. You know, this happens over and over and over again. The men just like, well, pack it up, see, I'm fucking out. Goodbye. And they leave. And we see this time and time and time again. And this is one small subset of the problems, you know, that we encounter inside of our experiences. But those results now create a completely disconnected home. The home's disconnected. So what's the results? Well, wife goes home, wife sits down, wife sits on her cell phone endlessly all day long when she's home, not paying attention, completely checked out. You know, the man drowns himself in work or whatever it is. You know, sports, video games, alcohol, whatever he can, you know, to escape from the reality of the results that this beingness has created. I am not loved has created this, okay? Now, how do we get out of this? Well, first, we have to look at all these beliefs, where they came from. You know, so there's a lot of pathways you can do this today. You know, yes, your therapist has many different modalities to do this. Counselors, many different modalities to do this. Coaches out there, many different modalities to do this. But you have to drive back to the question of what happened when I was a child that led me to put this belief on that now colored the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years of my life. Because that belief is deeply seated inside of you and you cannot see it. But when you see it, you're like, oh my gosh, and you're looking now through your adult eyes, you see that it's a lie. You see that it's not possible for that to be true. So once that happens, now we can change up the being. Okay? The only reason why I get to say who I get to be every day is because I've done this work here. That 12-year journey was me trying to figure out how to do this. So now what we've done is we've taken it and we've made it a lot easier and we get there a lot faster. You know, in fact, in the last retreat, in the first 4 hours of the 3 days, we had every single woman in that retreat connected to the light of their heart. And that made the lift in the dark so much easier for the rest of the retreat. We can go back and we can look at all the different things that they've done. Where they carry guilt, where they carry shame, where they went wrong in their life, what they've done inside their marriage, how they're showing up or not showing up as a mom. We can go back and we can address it and arrive all back to the same answer. You're doing the absolute best you can with what you have and what you know at the time that you're doing it. And then all they see is acceptance. Oh my gosh, I can accept this. I can actually accept myself. Because I see that if I don't accept myself, just like I said not too long ago, then I lose everything. I lose my wife, I lose my kids, I lose my dogs, I lose my house, I lose my station, I lose the fact that I'm even filming this podcast right now. It all disappears. And I'm not willing to change even a single thing in my past to lose any one of the souls that I have the honor of walking with today. So people get to that, and now they get to a place where, oh my gosh, who do I need to be today in the face of my circumstances? So they go into their life and they just decide, they choose for themselves. For the first time in their life, they can actually choose who they are going to be that day, that hour, that moment, that week, that month, for whatever duration of time this is. And you can find out all of this on your own. One of the books that you can read, good luck, because it's really dense. You're gonna need to sit down for this one. And it was a man, a philosopher named Martin Heidegger. He was around, earlier back in World War II era, and he wrote a book called Being in Time. All right, there's a lot of controversy around Heidegger, because he was involved in the Nazi regime or not involved, and he was a university professor, and they were trying to disparage his name and all this stuff. But if you read this, he's building off of Aristotle and Plato and like all the greats that came before him, just like I'm doing in this video, to come up with the fact that there's an underlying anxiety that every single human being is faced with, whether they're aware of it or not. And that's the fact that you are going to die. Your time here is limited. It's limited. But people are living like they've got, the rest of eternity to figure it out. Which is kind of a joke, depending on what you believe in. Because, if you do believe in coming back after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, which I do, then no, I really do have the rest of eternity to figure this out and work this out. But in this lifetime, in this life that I have right now, for whatever time that I have left, I don't want to squander a single minute being lost in the nightmare of the darkness that comes with believing I'm not good enough, that comes with believing I'm not seen, I'm not heard, I'm not loved, I'm not understood, I'm not worthy, I'm not accepted. Hell no. Hell no. That's a place that I do not want to be in. And my commitment to you always is try to share things to help you free yourself from that. Because you don't need to depend really on anybody else once you figure this out. You have a self-sustaining, self-sufficient way of living the rest of your life. Not from a place of darkness. Not from a place of F everyone else, I'm done. Not from a place of jadedness or complacency or apathy where you've just given up and thrown in a towel. But you have the ability to live your life from a place of I'm 100% on power, 100% in power. I'm 100% responsible for my life because now I am happening to the world versus the world is happening to me. The entire paradigm shifts. So I'm going to continue to go deep on this. I hope you got a lot of value out of today's episode. And if you're on YouTube, look. Man, I'm watching this every day, and I'm a human being too, okay? I got feelings, I got needs, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I got 12 views on my first short. And I'm like, this is crazy. I don't know why people sign up for this. This is madness. I want people to hear this message, but I got 12 views. And then I came back on the second day, I got 22 views. I was like, all right, we're getting somewhere. Next day I got 40 views, and I'm starting to get excited. And then meanwhile, I'm seeing people with hundreds of thousands and millions of views. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to compare myself to them because I understand I'm on a journey. And that journey is going to require a lot of engagement. So this is your opportunity. If you're watching YouTube, drop a comment underneath. Let me engage with you. I want to speak light into you. I want to give you anything that I can with the time that I have to help free you from the nightmare of being stuck in darkness. So drop a comment. If you're following along on Facebook Live, by the way, thanks for being here. I've had people come in. Thank you for being here today, showing up. This is the first time I'm actually doing this. Feel free to drop a comment on the video and I will engage there. If you see me on a short somewhere, reach out to me. That's awesome. And like and subscribe if you're on YouTube, because I'm going to be doing this every week. I'll be bringing my partners in. We'll try to keep the quality up and running. And the last thing is I want to leave you with a couple of opportunities if you want to go deeper. Our very next retreat in Vermont is going to be January 16th. January 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th. 4 days. It goes from Thursday night all the way to typically Sunday afternoon, depending on how it flows. Okay? If you'd like more details about that, message me. We'll get on a Zoom call. I'm not getting on a Zoom call to try to sell you to a retreat. I have no desire to do that. The Zoom call is for us to see where you are today. Where are you today in life? Where are you stuck? Where are you blocked? And then we're going to see where you want to go. And inside of all of that, we're going to discover, is this even going to be the right solution for you? Okay, so that's my encouragement. The next opportunity after that is a little bit of a lower barrier of entry. We're running our very next Ignite Your Inner Light seminar. It's going to be April 5, 6, and 7, somewhere in there. We're still deciding if it's going to be Friday, Saturday, or if it's going to be Saturday, Sunday. Again, reach out to us. Go to our website. You'll find more details. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. If you got a friend who's in darkness right now, send them this video. All right, help us deliver this message. We're not going to be able to do this without you. That's the truth. Like, this message is going to go, but it's only going to go and it's only going to grow with people brave enough like you to say, hey, I found this. I think this may make a difference in your world. I'm not judging you. I'm not trying to say you need help or you're broken. All right, people aren't going to respond well to that, by the way. Go talk to somebody who believes they're broken and tell them, you're broken. They don't want to hear that. And the truth is, it's not the truth. The truth is they're not broken. They just don't see it yet. So that's all I got for you today. Thank you for tuning in to Message to Our Kids, the podcast. Sending love. May light guide you wherever you are on your path. And we'll see you next time. Goodbye.